Hey, welcome back. Nice cold day here in Dallas. We're gonna go ahead today. What we're gonna be doing is working on the Excursion. Finally got the light bar, so we're gonna insert the light bar here, and then we're gonna do the fog lights. All right, so I got fog lights for each corner. Uh, Trying to be like the weatherman here, point. I don't know how they do it, but so as you can see, ordered this on eBay. It was a package deal, so it comes with the light bar and the fog lights. Okay, so it has both fog lights here. uh, okay, we have fog lights, the light bar. We have all the cables that we should be needing, including what looks like a relay, and we have some bolts as well as our hefty instructions, so you guys can see it, or pause it if you guys need to see how easy it is. I'm gonna test. I'm gonna bring my boy D over here. He's gonna kind of help me set it all up. I don't deal with electricity, but we're gonna try to install it and see how it works out. As you can see, the diagram looks fairly simple. Okay, I don't have to use the old plugs. You know, as you can see in here, these are the original plugs. These are gonna go no. I may be able to use them and put some extra fog lights if I wanted to, but we'll just cover these up for now and kind of zip tie the cables. First, you gotta fit it, see how it sits, see if we got the holes in the right place. I'm gonna have to remove the covers from here, kind of see where the adapters are, if I haven't even the adapters, or where I can put those fog lights. But once I do that, then we'll start running cables and find the insert, how to get that switch, because it comes with a switch as well, and we'll see how we connect it to the battery, run the switch. So stay with me and let's see how this turns out. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and lay everything out. I want to see if we can get this to fit as we unpack it. Just making sure we have everything set up properly. We can see it's a pretty cool looking light bar. And then the idea to get it set up. Okay, so as we can see, this is pretty much the setup. We have the cables, okay, all the electric components. We have the two fog lights. We have a set of nuts and bolts here, as well as here. These right here look like they're the ones that are gonna go on the side of the light bar. Okay, so those are going to side of the light bar, and these might be the ones that are gonna probably go here. Okay, these are gonna go here, so I have to figure how to mount them on the truck, since as you can see, I don't have mounts for the fog lights. Okay, so I'll start working with that, start putting them together, and then I may have to come back and drill some holes right in here so that I can get the light bar mounted onto that area. Let's take a look at it and see how that goes. As I was saying, these little mounts are gonna be the mounts that go here. Okay, they're gonna hold that light bar. So once I can get the light bar in here, I'll have to drill these into this plastic or metal. Hopefully that'll hold, or they rotate, so I might be able to get in here. Okay, we'll see once we can mess around with it, and it'll let us know which way it works best. Are a bit tricky. They have the lug nuts in here. Then you put this bracket into it, but you have to adjust so you can get the little bolts in there, or screws in there. But also, then you have, when you sit it here, I'm about to test this. I don't know if my logic is right, but you have this lug nut that is the one that's going to be used to be mounted. So wherever you mount it, it's kind of hard. It'll be hard to get the screw the way it's set up. See, whether you go this way to the front or whether you go this way to the back, depending on how you're gonna mount it. You gotta get the lug nut back here, kind of so I can build pressure. At least that's the instructions aren't clear, so I'm really going on my own here, putting the lug nut there, and then as I screw the bracket in, don't tighten it, but you'll get the lug nut in there. So once you set it and you drill that hole, the lug nut will already be in there, and you can just put the that bolt, the bigger one, throw the bottom wherever you have it connected. So hopefully that makes sense. But again, it doesn't really tell you how to mount the brackets or what to do with these brackets, so you're on your own on that part. And that's what I've done here. I've gone ahead and put these brackets in. Okay, so now that I have it, we can go over here, okay, and kind of start testing where I might want to put it. So one issue is that where we see here, the bracket is longer, okay, on both ends. So it's not gonna go where I was thinking on top of this. I'm gonna have to do is take this bracket to the back like that, and on both ends, so that I can bolt it back here. Okay, so that's gonna be the best solution on this one. I'm gonna have to put it back there. Okay, so now I've already drilled the holes. Okay, if you can see there, and then it fits perfectly. Okay, that screw goes in there, fantastic. One of the things with this truck, because it has a custom front end on it, there's about 3 brackets in there, so it's a little harder. But I had to drill through all those brackets. Now the fun part is gonna be seeing once I mount the light bar, if I can get the nut in there to tighten up. That's gonna be fun. So one of the things I want is for the hardness. You can go either way, but I want the hardness to start on this side where the main battery source is at. It was a little challenge to get in there because of all the brackets and all the mounts that it has for the upgraded bumper, but it actually looks good. So we don't tighten it all the way right now until it's all wired, in case we need to adjust anything. But at least that part is set and mounted. So far I really like the way it's looking. So let's move on to getting the fog lights figured out, and then hopefully we can get everything wired afterwards. Okay, so I've been messing around with it. I finally got one on. I decided to mount them down here. Kind of reverse the bracket. The bracket can go different ways depending on where you want to set it. If you want to mount it on top or hanging. I decided to leave it hanging so it can point at the lower areas, since I already have the light bar. That also is going to allow me to leave the original fog lights. So if I want to add the original fog lights, the cables are already there. So all I have to do is run the harness back here into the new and the original, the stock fog lights, which I might add later also. But right now on these, I like the idea. And plus I didn't have to drill any holes. This usually has a little plastic ballast that goes down here. So because that's already missing, there's already pre-drilled holes on here. So it was simple to just go in and basically in a reverse format, hang them in. Okay, so now I can just put the nut on top, and that way it already hangs and it's there. And there's another hole where the wiring comes in, so I didn't have to go drill anything. As I was removing this part here, I kind of ran into those holes, saw that stuff there, and figured it'll look good. So I like the way it looks there. I figure once I get the other one in the same area here, it's already got it, so we'll have both of them basically hanging. So that's what I'm gonna go with. It's your choice, your vehicle. I'm trying to see how it goes. Eventually, it's very simple to get in there and just remove it and move the wiring once it's all set up into another area. But like I said, to me, it makes sense just because I could put the original fog lights, you know, stock fog lights in there, or an additional set of fog lights going on once it's all set. So let's finish up. All right, so now that we have the lights in, pre-mounted, okay, we'll tighten everything up once the wiring is all done. But here's the wiring harness, okay? Essentially, you have what power here connects to positive and negative on the battery. And then you have the relay, okay? You'll find somewhere to screw that, somewhere safe to put that in there. And last, then you have, it splits, okay, into 3 sections here. Into your wire, okay, which I've disconnected here. This is your switch. It's gonna go inside the cab. Okay, you have your switch. So I'll run this plug through this. I'll find somehow to get it in there, and then we'll run it and plug it back in here. Then here, at the end, you have the other 2, okay? Again, the instructions show you a slight picture, and they probably flew away already, but then I have, let's see. This one is splits into a Y. So these are your 2 fog lights, okay? These here will be the 2 fog lights that you're gonna run. Then you have one more down here, one more wire, which will go to your light bar. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna run the wires inside, pop the hood, and see how I can go about getting all this set up. All right, so I ran some of the wire already. And if you can see, basically it's gonna connect here to the battery, and I've ran it through here, bringing it down, and I ran it across. And then I have the other ones came straight down here, and I have the wires hanging here, okay? So here's the 2 harnesses, and here, here's the 2 harnesses, and here is where it's gonna plug in. The only thing that sucks here is that they give you the adapters here, but they don't for this side, okay? So either you have to find the other pieces that connect to this, or what I ended up doing on the other side was basically splicing it. I cut it here and then added these butterflies. If you can see, I added these on this side just because I didn't have the other pieces. Also, you can just tighten them and do the duct tape, but or the wire tape, you know, but not the duct tape, the wire tape. But that's the option because they don't give you the adapters. Okay, so I ran all the wires already. Basically ran them through here, and I'll show you right now. But before I start figuring out how to run this switch all the way inside, I wanted to go ahead and test it out. So we're gonna go ahead, we plugged it in. If he brings the camera over here closer, we can see where we already hooked it up to the power. Okay, so basically we're negative and positive here. We have the relay, which I'm gonna probably tighten up over here, or here, so it can be more protected. I'll probably hit the relay right here, okay? And then we're gonna run the switch to the front. But let's see if we can power this on. And there we go. As you can see, we got power. With the sun, it's a little harder, but there's power, and we got power here. So the cable's here. This one's not on, so I'll have to mess with these cables to see if they came loose. But one switch controls it all. I'm gonna see how I go about running the wire, and that should be all it. All right, so we've been working off camera here, but trying to run this cable. Eventually what I had to do, let me show you here. I hooked up the relay here, okay? So plug the relay there. It's hooked up, it's gonna run to the battery. But then this one, the one that's gonna go to the switch, I'm bringing in here through the fender, okay? And essentially what we've done here, I got my cousin helping me, we taped it up. We used the antenna because we didn't have any other wire, and we taped it up so we can pull it all the way through. So we've pulled the cable out, and now what I'm gonna do is basically run it that we have it here, I'm gonna go ahead and untape it. Okay. And we're gonna hold it, we're gonna bring it through the door and kind of do the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and tape it also, kind of fish it through. Okay, so now I'm bringing it through here, okay? I'm bringing the plug right here, right through the door, and I have this piece here. There's this plastic that brings it in through, I believe, into the cap, through the cap, so it's a seal. I'm gonna pop that off, it's the plan, and then I'll bring the cable through there to run the switch. Okay, so let's see if that works. All right, so we finally got the cable in. What I ended up doing, basically, and it took a while. It's gonna take a while because you have the wad of cables. Let me see, wad of cables. So I ended up popping here, where the cables from the door come through, popped that out, and brought the cable in. Did the same thing with the antenna. You know, we popped through here. I was able to pry the antenna out so it can come out here, and taped it in. But it wasn't as easy as it looks. We had to pry, kind of went in here and push the cables in. Then you gotta wiggle it. So I was able to wiggle that in, move the bunch of cables in there, and finally we're able to, while wiggling here, you know, I was able to pull it here. I was able to fish rod it in here, and then my cousin was in here pressing the cables in. But again, wasn't easy at all. It was it took a lot. Hands are all scratched up and beat up, but again, if you don't like to scratch your hands or get hurt, don't do anything on your cars. But I think this was it. Now we have the cable in. Basically, I'll hook up the switch, and I'm gonna test it too. I'll plug it in and test it, make sure. But all I have to do now is figure out where I can put this switch at. So I may have to cut a square here, kind of to put it in here. Okay, that way it stays behind all the cable boxes. And that's probably gonna be the best bet. You know, it's kind of cutting a little square here for the switch, because I don't have another. This doesn't really have any switch boxes where I can ride it to. Heck, this vent right here might work perfect. Let me cut that little vent right there and put it in there. So those are the options I'll look at. But just wanted to show you guys what it did. It was hard to get that plug. So now I just plug it in, and I just gotta pop this back in, and hopefully it'll stay. You know, let's see how that goes.